All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer, where we're breaking down the extreme contrasts of the Champions League semifinals. We're heading into the decisive second legs, and ultimately, the grand finale in Budapest. If you love high-stakes European football, you know this year has been absolutely wild. So today, we're using the data, the tactics, and the history to make sense of the whole shebang.
Today, we're mapping out the road to the final, comparing that absolute firecracker of a tie between PSG and Bayern with the total grind of the Arsenal-Atletico matchup. Then, we'll check in on some massive injury news and see exactly what the supercomputers have to say about who takes home the trophy.
Let's start with the road to Budapest. And we literally can't talk about this without looking at the foundation of the tournament, the new Swiss model.
The hierarchy created by this new format is crystal clear. It hugely rewarded highly consistent teams like Arsenal and Bayern Munich. They earned the top seeds and completely bypassed the knockout phase playoffs. But on the flip side, Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid finished way down in 11th and 14th in the league phase. That punished them with grueling extra playoff rounds back in February. And honestly, when you're talking about late season fatigue, that exertion differential is a massive factor.
Right now, we're sitting perfectly in the eye of the storm, smack between those dramatic first legs and the deciders coming up on May 5th and 6th. It all leads to the big one on May 30th at the Puskás Arena. By the way, quick heads up on that final, they've actually bumped the kickoff to 1800 CEST this year to catch more of the global audience.
Okay, moving on to the absolute fire we just witnessed in Paris.
Nine goals. I mean, PSG beating Bayern 5-4, that is literally the highest scoring semifinal match in the entire history of the Champions League. It was just an unbelievable spectacle.
When you run down this rapid-fire list of goal scorers with Kane opening it up and Kvaratskhelia and Dembélé just trading blows with Elise and Diaz, it highlights the total absence of defensive caution. It's like neither team even thought about defending. We saw incredibly high-risk, transition-heavy styles from both Luis Enrique and Thomas Tuchel's replacement Vincent Kompany, a pure offensive shootout.
But here's the catch, right? Because the away goals rule is ancient history now, Bayern dropping 4 goals in Paris is mostly just a psychological boost. They don't get that mathematical cheat code anymore. It simply means Bayern still needs a 2-goal win at home in Munich to go straight through, or a 1-goal win to force extra time.
Now let's cross over to Madrid, where things were completely different. Talk about ice in the veins.
We are looking at an extreme clash of styles here. On one hand, you've got Arsenal turning into an absolute wall under Mikel Arteta, conceding just 0.65 goals a game and suffocating opponents with possession. On the other hand, you have Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid, the absolute masters of the dark arts. They rely on these deep, grinding low blocks, just waiting to hit you on the counter, which, let's not forget, beautifully nullified Barcelona in the previous round.
Because nobody was giving up an inch in open play, the match was entirely decided from the penalty spot. Gyökeres slots his away for Arsenal. Alvarez answers for Atletico. But man, the 80th minute, that's where it got wild. The referee actually overturned an Arsenal penalty after immense crowd pressure and going to the pitch side monitor 13 separate times. 13!
And that chaos gave us an absolute grenade of a quote from Arsenal's Declan Rice after the whistle, claiming the referee was, quote, provoked by the fans. That right there captures the palpable tension of the tie and sets up a massive narrative hanging over the second leg.
Which leads us perfectly into the missing pieces. Let's look at the real X factors that could decide who actually books a ticket to Budapest.
Every remaining team has a glaring vulnerability right now. PSG completely loses Achraf Hakimi's essential speed on the right due to a thigh injury. Bayern is sweating heavily over the fitness of Jamal Musiala, who is still nursing that bad ankle. And Arsenal? They are literally holding their breath, waiting for UEFA to decide if Declan Rice is getting suspended for those exact post-match comments we just talked about.
Switching back to the Bayern-PSG rematch, we have to talk about the Allianz Arena factor. Vincent Kompany was actually suspended for the first leg, but his return to the touchline at their home fortress is going to be pivotal. You just know Bayern is going to aggressively test whether PSG's makeshift defense can survive without a specialist right back.
Meanwhile, over in North London, Arteta just got a massive lifeline with Odegaard and Havertz returning to full fitness. But to capitalize on their Emirates home advantage, Arsenal's biggest test is psychological. They have to carefully pick the lock on Atletico's defense without throwing too many bodies forward and leaving themselves completely exposed to Simeone's lethal counters.
All right, let's step back from the emotion and look at the math, the supercomputer predictions.
Opta's algorithm clearly loves Arsenal right now. It's giving them a 39% chance to win it all, mostly rewarding that insane defensive consistency. It positions PSG as the second favorite around 31%. But look at Atletico. The computer is giving them practically zero respect, less than an 8% chance to lift the trophy.
But you know, human intuition is a funny thing. The betting markets are actually pushing back against the machines slightly. Punters are leaning hard into Bayern Munich's historic knack for overturning first-leg deficits at home against PSG. If Bayern pulls it off, we could be setting up for a monumental clash of styles if they face Arsenal in the final.
So it really comes down to this one massive question before the whistle blows on these second legs. Are we going to see data-driven, impenetrable defense win the day? Or will the sheer, explosive, chaotic firepower of a team like PSG or Bayern take the crown in Budapest? Let that simmer as you watch the matches unfold this week. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the football.